What you can do with your Osmo Mobile 2 to make sure the video you shoot has a cinematic look is shooting in slow motion. And that's the subject of today's video.
Damn.
Bonjour my dear Osmo Mobile 2 fans and welcome back to my channel. Good to see you all. Ça va? Hope you're all good. And before we jump into the subject, if you're new here, my name is Celine, I'm a TV journalist. If you enjoy watching high-tech reviews, tutorials and sometimes vlogs, you should consider subscribing. Mais oui, abonne-toi, juste là en bas. Smartphones might be limited in functionality compared to more dedicated video cameras, but that doesn't mean they're only capable of shooting one type of video. Mais non, absolutely not. Nowadays, most smartphones, like the iPhone, have a few different resolutions and frame rates to choose from. But you need to know what slow motion means before we get into the tutorial. Understanding the basic principles of slow motion is mandatory for making great slow motions, so bear with me for just a few seconds. Our brain cannot distinguish beyond 30 frames per second. By filming anything faster than that, you'll need to edit it in order to see the details. It can be put on a 30 frame per second timeline and it will be played back slower. For example, filming at 60 frames per second is 2 times slower than real time. The iPhone 6, 7 and 8 shoot at 240 frames per second. What does it mean? Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? It means it is 8 times slower than real time. So when you play back those 240 fast images at the speed your eyes is happy with, you will see a lot of details. This is about capturing life you normally cannot see, the flitting of a hummingbird's wings or wine being poured in a glass. All iPhones from iPhone 5S onwards can record slow motion video at 120 frames per second, but only the latest models like the iPhone 8 and iPhone 10 and above boost the slow-mo frame rate to 240 frames per second in Full HD resolution. By default, iOS devices are set to capture slow-mo video in 1080p at 120 frames per second. Here's how to adjust settings appropriately when you'd like to shoot fast-paced scenes in ultra slow motion. Open the Settings app on your iPhone, tap the camera section in the list, tag the subsection labeled Record Slow-Mo, toggle on the option labeled 1080p HD at 240 frames per second. Oui, je sais, I know. Il n'y a pas que Apple sur cette planète. Android users also have awesome smartphones with built-in slow motions. The Galaxy S9 Plus can shoot slow motion video at 240 frames per second in 1080p or 960 frames per second in 720p. C'est beaucoup ça! Sony's latest, the Xperia XZ2, can shoot 960 frames per second video at 1080p. Ça, c'est impressionnant. More and more companies are building their phones with cameras that can tackle the super slow motion. No matter which brand you prefer, you'll probably get the feature. When you shoot in slow motion video, it can get a bit blurry. It's difficult for even the most expensive cameras to capture high-speed video and still get a great sharp image. So with our smartphones, keeping our camera perfectly still is important. So the Osmo Mobile 2 is just perfect for this kind of footage. For shorter clips, it's not always necessary to use the Osmo Mobile on a tripod, but for longer slow motion shots, I recommend it for the best final product. When editing slow motion footage, you need to keep something in mind. Don't overdo it. Mais oui, il ne faut pas exagérer. My motto, less is more. Le but, the aim, should be to wow the audience and leave them wanting more rather than the opposite feeling. And these were The last tips of today's video, did I end it on a wow effect? If yes, well, please click on the thumbs up button just down below. And if you haven't done it yet, subscribe to my channel. If you would like to see more tutorials and reviews about the Osmo Mobile 2, check out my playlist, links in the description down below, or plus facile, the card right here. Hey my friend, merci if you did already subscribe. You're awesome, take care, and I will see you next Monday. Salut!